All right, Scott Eberts, SB Nation Recruiting, out here at the opening with Demetrius Knox out of Fort Worth All Saints. Demetrius, how's the experience been for you so far out here at the opening?
Well, it's a great experience, a lot of great competition out here, and this is all fun to me.
What's been your favorite part so far?
I'd have to say basically just chilling with the other athletes and everything. The best part of all of this is just getting together with all the other players and just seeing what they think about the recruitment process and learning different techniques.
So you picked up a lot of Nike gear out here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of gear that you picked up?
I'd probably have to say the cleats, the footwear. The shoe game is crazy.
You got those on right now?
Yeah, size 17.
Let's model those. Those are some big boys right there.
Yes, sir.
All right. So just in terms of, how do you feel like you did out at the one-on-ones just now?
I feel like I did okay, but I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement.
It seemed like you're performing a little bit better than maybe you did out at the Dallas NFTC. What have you been working on since then in terms of your technique and just getting better at guard since you played tackle in high school?
Well, I mean, the technique that the technique that we practice in high school and then we come out here, for most of us, it's different stuff. So, I mean, we're learning on the go. So, I mean, we're trying to hear what the coaching staff says and pick that up on the fly. So.
What's the best piece of advice that you've picked up so far?
I'd probably say being patient. A lot of people are jumping people at the line, and you can't do that. You just got to sit back, be patient.
Okay. So in terms of your recruitment, do you have a favorite right now?
Yes, sir. UCLA.
Have you had a chance to visit there yet?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
When did you take that trip?
I say about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago.
What is it that, besides the beauty of the school out there, what is it that stands out the most?
The coaching staff, the players, the way I feel like they have a certain hunger that they're coming up. They really want to win a national championship.
So UCLA had a good offensive line class last year, trying to put another good one together. Coach Adrian Clem there, what do you like the most about him? What is it that he does to sell the Bruin program so well?
Well, I mean, he's a player's coach. He's about 36, I want to say. So, he's close to our age. We can relate to him. I mean, when I call him up or whatever and talk to him, I'm not just talking to him as a coach or whatever. He's like an uncle, if that makes sense.
Okay, so they have a Texas signee from the 2013 class, Caleb Beninock. Do you know Caleb at all, and have you talked to him throughout the process?
Yeah, me, Caleb, Eldridge, Simon, we talk pretty much almost every day.
So what do they have to say about the UCLA program?
Just saying, how they're coming up and all that stuff, and they really want me. Coach Clem, he stressed from day one, they really want me there, and he wants me to be his left guard.
So Ohio State, you grew up an Ohio State fan. Where do they rank for you right now? How do you feel about the Buckeyes?
I'd probably say they're my number 2 school right now, but I've always loved the Buckeyes, and even if let's say I go to UCLA or somewhere else, regardless, I'm still going to be a Buckeye. So.
What's your favorite part about the Ohio State program?
That's tough. I mean, the fan base is crazy. Best fan base in the country. The coaching staff, crazy. The stadium, the education. You can't really just pick one thing.
Any other schools that are standing out for you right now?
Yes, sir. Other than UCLA and Ohio State, Miami, Florida State, Florida, and TCU.
Okay, so a couple Florida schools there. Have you had a chance to visit the state of Florida?
Yes.
What do you like about that area?
I visited Miami so far. Yeah, it was nice there. I got to talk to the coaching staff. They're all players, coaches, and it's easy to relate to them. They only got one goal. Some teams stress, we're going to win a conference championship or something like that. No, they're like, we're going to win the national championship. No.
What about Florida and Florida State? What do you like about those two programs?
Both programs, they got that hunger. I mean, Florida State, they're just right there. They need that extra little boost, and they already got it.
Okay, and so you had a decommitment from Texas recently. A lot of the Texas fans weren't really treating you very well on Twitter, social media, that kind of stuff. How much did that impact your decision to decommit from Texas?
Well, I mean, it started actually a while back and all that stuff, and I talked to Mac Brown about decommitting and everything, and I actually decommitted, I say about 2 or 3 weeks before it went public. I told him that, out of respect, that I was going to let him be the one to make it public and all that stuff, and he just told me to hold back a bit because, I hadn't taken any visits at the time, and once I did, he was going to make it public and all that, but I mean, started back at I was watching the Oklahoma game, and even though, Texas was getting beat and everything, I was looking around, fans just coming out of the stands, just leaving. I mean, regardless if your team's 1-0 games, you got to stick by your team.
Okay, and the recruiting process is, kind of, time for learning and maturation and that kind of stuff. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned from the recruiting process so far?
I'd say, a lot of athletes I see, they don't, when they're on social media and all that stuff, and they're talking to their friends, they're talking like, everybody can see it. They're talking like everybody's buddy and all that stuff. And they've stressed a lot here about building your brand. When you can't post certain stuff over social media or whatever, like if you look at my page or something like that, I try and be as positive as possible. I don't want anybody to say, give anybody a reason to say, hey, I don't like that guy or anything like that. I just want to be 100%, Demetrius, he's a stand-up guy.
Okay, and a timetable for a decision?
Whenever it feels right. Really and truly, I wanted to do it the Army All-American game, but whenever I got that urge that, says, hey, this is the place I need to be, that's when I'm going to pull the trigger.
All right, thanks a lot, Demetrius Knox.